Hello there, I'm Joseph and welcome to the third part of the GalleryGear tutorial series. This time I cover really the heart of GalleryGear, which is its photo manager. I worked very hard on this because I wanted it to be as close to perfect as possible. My goal was that it should keep easy things easy. You find the photo manager in the components menu. The photo manager uses some advanced web techniques, though the rest of GalleryGear is web browser independent, its backend the photo manager is not. The supported browsers are Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome and the desktop version of Apple Safari. So make sure that you work with one of these. Here on my desktop I have some photos. By the way, these are all JPEGs. GalleryGear has support for the file formats JPEG and PNG, or PNG as some call it. Now back to the photo manager. If you need more space, you can hide the Modic sidebar by clicking this arrow. Let's add our very first photo. To do it, I click the right mouse button to open the context menu and choose Create New Photo inside. See that gray square? This is our new photo. To select it, I click on it. To the right of the browser appears the Photo Inspector window. In here you can edit the information for this photo. For example, if I want to change its title, I click on the title in here to edit it. I change it to Animals. To save the changes, I choose Save Up here. Now let's take a look at what else we've got here. At the right there is a blue badge. This shows me the ID of that particular photo. Each photo in GalleryGear has a unique ID which never changes. You can even have two photos with the exact same name next to each other because of that. At the left is the thumbnail of that photo. Since the photo has no file attached to it, it's only a gray square. This is the description area. In here you can type in some text related to that particular photo. And at the bottom is some information on when the photo was created and on when it was last modified. Okay, let's go on. I call that photo Animals because it's for one of the two categories I want to create. Now let's upload some photos. To do that, I select some photos in my file browser and drag them over. Do you notice the insert markers that appear when I hover my mouse over that picture? We will take a closer look at those in just a minute. For now, I let go of the mouse button right in the center of the photo. Now the photos are being added to the library. You get a progress indicator for each photo right in the browser window while it's being copied to the server. Since I run the web server on my local machine, the upload was blazingly fast. If you're doing that on a real web server on the internet, it's not that fast, of course. The speed really depends on your internet connection and your web server. But I have a few recommendations. To start with, I suggest that you never upload more than 5 photos at once, or more than 10 megabytes. This is what I recommend for a good experience. Of course, you don't have to really do that. Experiment with it and find a way that works best for you. And there is another limit. Don't upload big photos. When GalleryGear creates a resized version of your photo, it loads it into the memory of your web server for that period of time. JPEG and PNG are file formats that compress the photo. When your web server loads the photo into its memory, it loads it uncompressed though. A photo with 1 or 2 megabytes can become pretty big there, so my recommendation is that you shan't upload photos with dimensions greater than 2000 pixels each. If you want to look your memory limit up, just go to Reports, System Info and have a look at the list there. But if you stay under 2000 pixels, you should be fine. Now let's take a look at what happened in the photo manager. The photo is now being displayed differently. That's because it has child photos. To see them, press the expand arrow, or if you prefer that, you can also double click it. This is one of the big features of GalleryGear. Each photo can have subphotos. and those can have subphotos too. So there is really no difference between categories and photos. But you can call a photo a category if it has subphotos if you so choose. Also, please notice that photos with no child photos are displayed differently. They are displayed next to each other. This saves a lot of space. If you search for a specific photo with a certain title, just hover over the thumbnails. You can also see that the photos have the exact same name as their original file. Now let's move the photos around. To do that, just hover with your cursor over a photo, push your mouse button and keep it pressed. Now you can drag the photo around. If you just release the mouse button, the photo reverts back to its original position. Let's do that again, but this time I want to move it out of the parent photo. I drop it right before the category by releasing the button with the cursor in the upper third of the animal category. The insert marker shows me that I'm about to drop it before the photo. Okay, we really need to take a look at what happens where. This is different and a bit more complex than moving files around with the file manager on your computer, but you'll get used to it. Basically, there are 3 zones. These zones are of course invisible on the real thing, but not in this illustration. First thing you notice is that their arrangement depends on whether the photo has subphotos or not. If your cursor is in the first zone, you insert the photo before the photo you drop it on. If your cursor is in the second zone, you insert the photo inside the photo you drop it on. And if your cursor is in the last zone, you insert it after the photo you drop it on. It's not that hard, is it? Now I take the last photo of the animal category and move it. I can move it before the photo, into the photo, and after the photo. There are even 2 ways to do this. I can drop it either here or there. Oh, that looks different. What happened? Quite simple. The animals category has no more any subphotos. Consequently, it collapsed. I can also select more than one photo and move them together. To do that, I select one of them, then hold down the command key and then I select the other ones. If you work on a Windows machine, you hold down the control key instead. Now I move both back into the animals photo. Please note that also the content of the context menu changes depending on which zone you are in. If I click here, I get create new photo before, here I get inside and here I get after. Now I also add the other category called nature. First I create the category photo. I add it after the animals category. I change the title to nature and save it. And then I drag the photos into it. Now I show you another great feature of GalleryGear. It's called region of interest. I show it to you on the lady beetle photo. But first I want to add a description to that photo. To do that, I simply click into the description box. There exist many names for that little insect. Some call it lady beetle or lady fly or even ladybug. We in Germany call it Marienkäfer. So I type in, this is a Marienkäfer, a Marienkäfer. Anyway, to open the region of interest editor, you click onto the thumbnail. This is also a good way to see a bigger version of a photo. Look at that! There's a big Bureau of Freshness logo in there. Well, though the logo is very nice, I don't want it in here. If you want to make updates to your photos, you can do that anytime. But first I have to get out of the region of interest editor. To update a photo, simply drag the new file onto the thumbnail. GalleryGear deletes the old file and saves the new one. The title and descriptions stay the same. Now back to the region of interest editor. In here you can mark an area of the photo which is important. This region will be used in the thumbnail creation process to create a thumbnail that for one looks much better, and second, it also shows the important thing on the photo. Here I drag the box around the lady beetle itself. Then I save it. You can always have a look at the result in the photo inspector window. Now you can tell by simply looking at the picture that there is a lady beetle on it. There is more I want to tell you about the uses of the region of interest, but I save that for the next video. I've told you how you create photos, and now I'll tell you how to get rid of them. This is a two-step process. First, you mark a photo as deleted. To do that, open the context menu and then choose Mark as Deleted. Deleted photos won't appear on the gallery on your website anymore. However, you can of course set it up that they do show up. You can also hit the backspace key or delete key if you like it a bit faster. This will delete or undelete the photos which are currently selected. To finally erase the photos, open the recycling bin from the browser toolbar. It will also show you all the photos which are marked for deleting. Then click delete and then confirm that again, but I won't delete this one now. There is also one more thing to keep in mind here. If you select a photo which has subphotos, these subphotos will get deleted too. And then finally, two last things. You can of course add a photo to an empty photo by dropping the file onto the thumbnail. If a photo has a photo file, you can always access the original file by clicking the download button there. And you can get rid of the photo file by right-clicking on the thumbnail and then choose Remove from the context menu. And the last thing I'm going to show you in this video is the cover feature. You can mark any photo as a cover by choosing Mark as Cover from the context menu or by pressing the C key on your keyboard. To illustrate that better, I go to www.bild-worte.de. This is a good real-world example where this feature comes in handy. If I hover with my mouse over any of these photos, they flip over and there is a photo from this category. With the cover feature, you can specify the photo which shows up there easily. If you don't specify a cover, it takes the first photo, and if you specify more than one, it takes the first of these. Okay, now I finally come to an end. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as well as I did explaining all this stuff. If you didn't already do so, you can buy GalleryGear at bureauforfreshness.com for just €10. In the next video, I will cover how you implement GalleryGear on your website. Even if you don't know anything about PHP, you will be able to follow my instructions with ease. I'm Joseph. See you in the next part. Bye bye.